It's been a while since I've done a triple P on my channel. I can't remember the last one it was. I think it might have been the one on Donna. It probably was, so it has been a little bit, probably a couple weeks, maybe a little bit more. And honestly, this video that I'm doing right here on Dylann Roof, this is probably the first time I think I've ever done a triple P on him. And this almost didn't happen as a triple P because I meant to do it in my most recent live stream that was on Friday, October 14th. But I completely forgot about it. But you know what? Content is content. So in case y'all are unaware, Dylann Roof appeal was rejected by the Supreme Court. And if I'm not mistaken, this is not the first appeal that him and his attorneys have filed. So I think this is probably maybe the second or possibly the third, but I know it's definitely not the first one. And if you know, when it comes to death row, I believe that they get a certain amount of appeals they can do before they run out. If they run out of appeals, then they're just sitting there waiting until they get that lethal cocktail. But I'm gonna go ahead now and read this article coming from the Associated Press that was posted October 11, 2022. The Supreme Court has rejected an appeal from Dylann Roof, who challenged his death sentence and conviction in the 2015 racist slayings of 9 members of a black South Carolina congregation. Roof had asked the court to decide how to handle disputes over mental illness-related evidence between capital defendants and their attorneys. The justices did not comment Tuesday in turning away the appeal. Roof fired his attorneys and represented himself during the sentencing phase of his capital trial, part of his effort to block evidence potentially portraying him as mentally ill. Roof shot participants at a Bible study session at Mother Emanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina. A panel of appellate court judges had previously upheld his conviction and death sentences. Roof, aged 28, is on federal death row at a maximum security prison in Terre Haute, Indiana. And in case y'all want to know why he's there, that's because he got hands put on him by a black man in South Carolina, and then they ended up having to move him. I think the door was left cracked open for him to get in. It says he still can pursue other appeals. So yeah, he's probably going to continue pursuing them, but I highly doubt that any of them are going to go his way. And they shouldn't. I think all of his appeals, should he use them, are going to get denied. No matter what attorneys he may give, if he has to continue to shuffle them in and around, it doesn't matter. If he tries to represent himself, it doesn't matter. This guy is going to get the lethal cocktail one way or another, or whenever it decides that it's going to happen. Point blank, period. But it's amazing that he's trying to appeal this decision, because let's just hypothetically say this actually did slip through. It will only go to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. So he would die in there anyway. It's just that it probably would take him a little bit longer. But I think they have to wait for all, and someone can correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. I think he has to run out of appeals before it's like, okay, now that he's ran out of appeals, it makes this process a little bit more faster. The only thing I hate when it comes to death row is that it takes so long. And I'm talking about the people that should be on there, because sometimes there are innocent people that go on death row who shouldn't be there. Troy Davis definitely comes to mind. But when it comes to someone like him, I wish that this process could be expedited. But we just got to be patient. And I know they don't televise it, but his definitely should, because we want to see him. I would love to see him take his last breath. I know they're only going to leave that open probably for the family members of those he murdered, because that's usually how it goes. But I think we should be able to watch that, because then it'll be like, okay, now we know for sure and for certain that he's up out of here. But shout out to the Supreme Court for denying yet another appeal, and I'm sure that they're going to continue denying all the others as well.
Lord, I'm having a heart attack. Damn, this is some scary shit.